Welcome back to the Scrubdom, everybody. We're going to be playing some more Oxygen Not Included. I did have some plans for this episode, but as I was sitting there and going through the plans, I realized what I wanted to do today isn't feasible yet. So we'll get to what I actually wanted to do today next time, which what I wanted to do today was try to get a space system up and running. I actually spent some time. I started shaving off this top layer. You can see a whole bunch of just debris sitting around. I was gonna border in here and start getting the space program up and running until I realized I don't have a good food source. And the best food source to actually go up into space with, at least in my opinion, is berry sludge, which is mostly made up of bristleberry and sleet wheat. And the reason I would want to use this is, aside from having a good quality of +3, so we're actually gonna get a decent morale bonus off it while we're in space, and having 4,000 calories, so one of these can feed 4 duplicants. It has a spoil time of never. This will never go off. You could leave this out in the open anywhere and it just will never spoil. So I want to get this processed before I can actually get to space travel. The problem is I don't have a bristleberry farm or a sleet wheat farm. So that has to change. I've also decided that instead of putting the power station on the right side of the base, I'm actually going to put it on the left side of the base over here, just below our water tank and industrial area. Mostly because I realized that we have 2 vents and geysers over here, and going straight down this way, just straight down here, I'm not seeing any other vents or geysers in the way. So I could power spine down this way, and I could use this natural cool area here to create the sleet wheat farm. Plus, we already have a bunch of natural sleet wheat growing in there. There's 54 grains right there. This will allow us to actually start up a pretty big farm. But the other reason being is because of these 2 vents and geysers right here. From the star map, I know that we still have a polluted water geyser, a carbon dioxide geyser, a minor volcano, and a natural gas geyser left. If one of these 2 is the natural gas geyser, the power system just makes a lot more sense to set up over here. This is more than likely the minor volcano here because it's closer to the magma biome. And I'm really hoping that this is the polluted water geyser. That means I can just make a giant polluted water tank right here. But I've already gone ahead and prepped to burst into these geysers, and these geysers or vents. I wanted to do that with everybody. But before we get into that, there is one major topic I want to get into that I feel is probably one of the biggest keys to whether or not you can survive an Oxygen Not Included world. And that is Dreeko ranching. Dreekos are a lot like hatches where they need 12 spaces per Dreeko. So in a basic ranch style like this, you can have up to 8. I'm only putting 7 in there. I've been letting them go for a while. The reason you want Dreekos is because of their 2 variants. What we have here on the ranch right now are regular Dreekos. When they're put into a shearing station, they will actually, their backsides will be cut off and they'll be turned into thimbleweed, just like we were getting out of the thimbleweed plants from the water processing plant we had a little while ago. If you can't get thimbleweed, but you can get Dreekos, you want Dreekos. This is why I say they're incredibly important, because you need that thimbleweed to create Atmos suits. Which, thanks to this ranch and the thimbleweed plant I had up and running earlier, I was able to create this Atmos suit dock, which leads out into space. And I created a dock system that actually leads outside. The only downside is we might actually need to start looking at increasing our oxygen supply soon, because every time they come back and they drop it off, it has to refill the Atmos suit itself with oxygen. The docks will hold a certain amount of oxygen, and then the suits will hold a certain amount of oxygen. Now, unlike feeding hatches though, Dreekos cannot eat from the critter feeders. They eat from the plant directly, and the plant you want to mostly feed them is mealwood. Dreekos can eat pitch of pepper nuts, balm lilies, or mealwood, but you want to feed them mealwood. And the big reason you want to feed them mealwood, well, I mean, first off, aside from the really good livable range and giving the same amount of meat from hatches, they do excrete a bunch of phosphorate. But the reason you want to feed them mealwood is because it increases their chance of becoming glossy Dreekos, which, you know, they still have a pretty good livable range and a very good comfortable range. You want to usually try to keep within the comfortable range because they'll just make them a lot happier. But the big reason you want them is, aside from their backsides no longer get sheared off into reed fiber, it gets sheared off into plastic. Now, currently this ranch does have 7 to 7, and if you'll actually notice this top layer here, I do have a small layer of hydrogen up here. A little bit did escape over here, but I'm not too worried about that. And and the reason I have this here is because Dreeko's scales, their backsides, do not regrow unless they're in hydrogen. Personally, I'd like to put just a little bit more in this top layer, but I'm kind of waiting for it to even out, and it doesn't really help that I have the oxygen vent right here pumping in and out. I probably should move that down more. Now, I'm not sweeping up any of the phosphorite right now just because I have no need for it, and I am getting quite a bit in the area. Like, this one spot here already has 95 kilograms. But the thing I am sweeping up is I'm sweeping up all critter eggs that come into this area, and I'm dropping them off in the Dreeko evolution chamber. The point of this evolution chamber is, aside from stocking up on a lot of different creatures, is this is going to give us a near infinite supply of plastic and a near infinite supply of reed fiber. I have the whole room filled with hydrogen, about a little over 1 kilo per area. I could put a little bit more in here if I want to, but I just don't feel like it. And then I have this set up here for later. I'm just going to pull all the plastic and reed fiber out so people can just come grab it. I probably should move it over a little bit more, but this will work for now. I have the incubator here set up with a priority of 9 and on a timer sensor. And all this is going to do is this timer sensor tells it when this incubator is allowed to power on. I have it total duration. So the red duration is technically total duration. I have it set for 600 seconds. That's because one cycle in oxygen not included is 600 seconds. And then it only kicks on for 60. I had to play around with some of the settings to get this working. I only have 3 ranchers and they have a lot to do overall with the 5 ranches they have to take care of. So 60 works for me right now. So this will only draw power for 60 seconds out of the whole 600 time frame. But thanks to this little room, you'll notice here on the side here, I already have almost 2 kilos of plastic. And the big reason you want plastic is because that's usually what steam turbines are made of. And steam turbines are also part of cooling systems. It's that way you can combine with thermal aqua tuners. So I wanted to make sure that we had at least some plastic coming in, because I also know that we don't have any oil on this planet. The oil is actually going to be on our other planet, which gets into what we're going to be doing today. Today, aside from getting through these vents and geysers to figure out what they are, we're going to send someone over today. We're going to drop a lot of this down. This is full of slime right now. We're going to drop it down and try to get it connected down in here. Then we're going to get someone sent over. We're going to see what the other planet is like. And the one thing I hope they have is pips. If there's pips and arbor trees over there, we can actually get an infinite supply of dirt. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start cracking into these vents and geysers. If you want to make sure not to set them off, you can just do a little crack. So like right there, one crack right there will be fine. Oh, this is our polluted water vent. Darn. All right. We just have to hope. This is our natural gas geyser. Come on, come on. Natural gas. Natural gas right here. Come on. Come on. No, it's another cool steam vent. So then where would our natural... Have I just not found the other neutronium patches yet then? So there is that one there. I haven't gotten down in here. Oh, I was really hoping it would be there. I really hope the natural gas isn't over here, because then the power supply is going back over here, which I really didn't want to do. I also haven't explored over in here. I don't even know if vents and geysers can be in there. I should probably just tear through the rest of the map already. You know, I think that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna queue up a bunch of tearing actions real quick and just let them tear. We'll probably be back about cycle 300 for this episode. So as I was digging around, I found one of these story traits, the Somonym synthesizer. I've never actually encountered this before, so hooray, we get to learn something together, everybody. Let's figure out how this thing... Okay, let's figure out how this whole thing works. I've discovered a new dreamlike analyzing building buried deep inside our asteroid. It seems to contain new sleep-specific suits. These could be the key to unlocking my duplicant's ability to dream. I've often wondered what they might be capable of once their imaginations were awakened. I have no idea how to use this. I have no idea what this is. I was digging towards this other slime biome I found over here, trying to find the natural gas vent, and I just uncovered it right here. Pajama cubby. Ooh, it has an office plant. And yeah, I have no idea how to use. This is something I'm gonna have to research into in order to be able to pass on all this information to everybody. We are ready though to crack in to this. Please be the natural gas geyser, because if it's the natural gas geyser, I can just make the power system right here. Okay, ready? Let's see. Come on. Natural gas. It's our carbon dioxide geyser. It's really far away from space too. Well, back to continuously still searching for this natural gas vent. I'm assuming at this point it's either going to be down in here somewhere, or it's going to be down in the magma biome. At this point, I'm no longer assuming that this is our minor volcano. I saw another one around here too. It was right there. So either this or this, unless I can find another one. But actually thinking about it, there is also the chance, and this can happen. You'll notice right over here, this red stuff here is magma. There is a chance our natural gas spawned down in there. If that happens, I'm gonna have to find some weird ways of doing power. We might be stuck to coal and hydrogen power, with the hydrogen mostly coming from our spawn, which our hydrogen's actually doing really well. Like, we've got enough of a backup. This is just the hydrogen eating system. This hydrogen thing here just constantly eats. All right, back to trying to find this geyser or vent. I don't remember which one it is anymore. I'm finding the natural gas. Well, I found it in this other slime biome, right next to the solemnium thing. However, I'm not good with words. It's next to the sleep machine. It says it has a pajama cubby. It's a sleep machine. There is our natural gas geyser, which means, once more, the power supply is going on the right. It's probably going to be more up here where it's a bit more cool, which means that the sleet wheat farm can actually go over where I was going to move it. So I'm thinking mass amount of sleet wheat and bristle blossoms right in here. Probably drop it. I mean, we do have to remember that we have a cool steam vent here, so I can't drop it too much. I will want to get a chilling system for it though, because sleet wheat requires it to be really cold, and bristle blossom wants a certain temperature as well. But yeah, once that gets up and running, we'll be able to get all kinds of space travel in. But for now, I think it's time we cracked into this. I don't know which one actually lets us go out. Ooh. There's a little bit of crude oil in there. Okay, so I'm going to want to crack it this way. And I'll crack that. We're going to want to mop up that crude oil. We're going to want to keep that. Crude oil actually has a fairly... No, not the mop errand. Crude oil. Crude oil actually has a pretty good temperature range. It doesn't turn into petroleum until at least 750 degrees. And it can go all the way down to -40 before it'll actually freeze solid. Which means this can actually be used as a really good cooling loop. But petroleum can be even better, because petroleum can go down to 70 degrees. You don't really want to go into sour gas. There is some stuff you can do with sour gas. You can turn sour gas back into methane, which you can then turn into solid methane and turn it into natural gas as well. If you can find a way to use that, then all the better for you, because then you can actually use these natural gas generators. But that's why I wanted to find that natural gas geyser. But for this, we can use this to at least start our cooling loop. But there's also a big reason why I want to get over to the other planet. So as soon as that gets cut out, because I believe, yeah, this is the receiver, so this is where they'll come back. But let's go ahead and inspect these. Incongeniously placed research notes are hidden within the operating instructions of the device. I add them to my database. Oh, that's right. Whenever you start a world for the first time, make sure to always check your database, because this is actually how you get new information for everything. You can view the entries and you can learn more and more about the lore and history of Oxygen Not Included by researching all of these. So we got the desk. Let's go ahead and inspect. I'm just going to inspect everything that I can, because those databases are going to be invaluable. Oh, I just realized I can't get over to that too. All right, so now we just have to decide who we're going to send over. I actually don't remember if I actually talked about our newest dupe that we got, Mr. Iron Wolf here. We were able to take a new duplicant over the last course of cycles, and I can't remember if I actually talked about him or not. He was primarily a digger builder. Let's actually go up to his skills real quick. He should be ready for quite a few skills. Yes. Yeah, he's a digger builder, but he also wants to go into suit wearing. So let's go ahead and up his skills a little bit. I'm not going to get him into suit wearing yet. I think Mr. Iron Wolf is going to go over. So as soon as we're ready to send him over, we'll go ahead and get him sent over. I want to get started on the other colony, but first I want to make sure this is a little bit more taken care of. Our calories here are starting to go down, mostly because we're running it low, starting to run more and more, running out more and more of pickled meal. That's also because we've been trying to slowly switch over to barbecue, but our barbecue keeps rotting. Which is strange, because this should be, yeah, it's a sterile atmosphere. Wonder if I should make a deep freeze. I might make a deep freeze just so we can get into some thermal aqua tuners, but overall it should be fine over here. So I've gone ahead and started preparing an entire area for all the polluted water that's going to be over in here. I'm probably going to seal this off. I'm going to drop a pipe in, throw down a cable connection and a pipe connection. I'm just going to let this run. I am still going to analyze it for the databases. They have some sweeping to do in here. I also think I got a cap on the problem with the food. Most of it was being left right here and rotting. So I added a sweeper and a conveyor loader. But I think it's time to send Mr. Iron Wolf over. So where is Mr. Iron Wolf? There he is. All right, buddy, you're going to have a job. I got Iron Wolf already queued up and ready to go. I just need to make sure he doesn't take his Atmos suit with him. I actually want that left here. So we're going to follow him for a moment. Now that he has it on, just on this other side here, we're going to unequip suit, and he's actually going to be able to go out without it now. All right, buddy, you ready for a trip of a lifetime? Let's go. And he's gone. Ooh. All right, I want a moment to just get my bearings real quick. Ooh, there's cobalt over here. I like cobalt. A lot of sedimentary rock. Obsidian. Obsidian is a nice material. It has a very good overheat temperature. Swamp shard. They've given us 17 kilograms of nutrient bar. There's a teleporter output. Something over there. Okay, so I gotta do a couple of things. For one, I need materials. I feel like we're gonna end up with a whole bunch of polluted oxygen in the area. I'm just gonna have to live with that. I like the idea of keeping this here. I'll probably fill in a lot of these gaps and turn this into the main base. What? Cryo tank 3000. Tank appears impossibly old, but smells crisp and brand new. A silhouette just barely visible through the frost of the... Am I gonna get another duplicate? Okay, so I've got a little bit of work to do. I got to queue up a bunch of stuff, get a bunch of stuff running. What is your schedule, Mr. Iron Wolf? You did just get up. Okay, you got plenty of time. You got a lot of work to do, buddy. All right, so I've queued up a couple of things for Iron Wolf to do. I'm going to go ahead and swap back over to the main planetoid real quick, just to make sure everything's functioning properly, which I'm pretty sure everything is. It's mostly just one giant sweep command. Make sure to get all of it, guys. But yeah, so it looks like the big thing we're going to be able to do is we're just going to get to create pretty much an entirely new base over here, which I'm down for. Only downside is it's going to be a lot of polluted oxygen. A little bit of oxalate in here we can get our hands on, which we're going to need. And there's already a growing section down here. We also have some bog buckets. I think that the food source over here is going to end up being bog buckets. I don't know what these plug slugs are. I'll have to do some research into them to figure out what I can do with them. I'm pretty sure I can ranch them. There's a lot in this area, though. But I'm so happy to have this kobold in the area. Alright, so I've been letting Mr. Iron Wolf here go ahead and tear through a lot of this biome, or at least our initial biome here. However, while he was digging around, I did notice the oil. And more importantly, slicksters. Which means we actually need to get a rocket over here. I want these slicksters. Or do I want to farm the slicksters here? Does this place have a carbon dioxide vent as well? It has a carbon dioxide geyser. I could use that to feed the slicksters. I might turn this entire place into just a slickster ranch. And does it have its own magma biome? It does not. I'll have to cart the oil over. Still, I'm going to want to get those slicksters. But I've also noticed in the time frame that we've been here that Mr. Iron Wolf's stress levels are getting pretty high. What kind of stress? Yeah, he's gaining a little over 10% today. He's at 50% already. What kind of stress reaction do you have? He's an ugly crier. Okay, that's not the worst stress reaction. Some of the worst ones you can get are things like destructive, binge eater. Vomiter isn't too bad. There was actually once a strategy of just filling your entire colony up with vomiters because you could get more infinite water. Because at one point they actually came out with it came out as not polluted water. There we go. I got there. There we go. I'm slowly getting that enclosed. And like I said, I want to try to at least keep this for now. Eventually a lot of this will probably end up being destroyed except for the teleporter and the receiver. And I'll turn this into like an actual little base area. Yeah, I'm gonna have to keep an eye on Mr. Iron Wolf's stress. If it gets too high, I will send him back to the other. Oh, he's stuck there. Okay, no, he's not stuck. He's just not moving. He had to think for a moment on what to do next. Please move over before you actually build those 2 spots. I really don't want you to suffocate right now. You're the only duplicate here, and I don't know if I can send another one right now. I think I can only leave him here for one more cycle as well, because I don't have a sink here. And, when he comes out of there, he comes out pretty germy. And it's already starting to affect here, especially since there's swamp chard in there. But I'm just going to have to make do with it for now. There's not a lot I can do until I can get more and more of this set up. I did, however, do some research into these plug slugs. And, oh boy. Okay, so while they're sleeping, you'll notice that they have a power connection. And they give off 400 watts of power while they're sleeping. There's only 2 downsides to them, though. 1, they consume refined metal. And 2, they produce hydrogen. Hydrogen's not the worst. I can deal with them producing hydrogen. But I don't have a way of making an infinite source of refined metal. So unfortunately, I'm not going to get to use these guys right now. I also found some ethanol over here. Ethanol can be used in a petroleum boiler. It gives a little bit of power. Mostly just because it takes a consumable liquid, which the consumable liquid is either petroleum or ethanol. And it gives off more power when using petroleum. This is going to be one of your biggest power. This is going to be one of your biggest power outputs when you start getting into the late game. I've never actually gotten to put one of these down because I usually die before I can get petroleum built. Unless I have slicksters. You can turn slicksters into a molten slickster that instead of excreting oil excretes petroleum. Which I do want to get to petroleum because petroleum can make for a great cooling loop. Don't worry, buddy. This is going to be your last cycle here. You just got to hang on a little bit longer and then you'll get to go home. We'll give you a break. You'll get to relax. Kind of want to try to set this up though before I leave, just to start sending some of that cobalt over. It does need power though, and I don't have a source of power. Thinking about it, there's no point in doing that then. I think what I want to do in the long run is I'll probably tear through all of this. I'll probably leave one, I'll probably leave 1 or 2 duplicates over here, maybe 3. Since the slicksters are here, I'll probably turn this into a slickster ranch colony, where all they'll do is ranch slicksters. I'll have 2 ranchers and a cook. And the cook is just going to take whatever meat comes off the slicksters and turn that into barbecue. The slicksters also do give off a source of meat. I've never actually created a slickster ranch. I've seen it done, but I've just never done it. If they lay an egg though, then I'll want to get down in there and grab one. Yeah, Slickster Ranch and oil facility sounds pretty good. Ooh, there's quite a bit of ethanol over here. I'll need to create an ethanol storage area. But hey, we made it over to the other colony. We have some plans. I do want to try to get in here and get some bog buckets down. He's not doing anything right now. How do I have 2.79 bog bucket? I'm so confused. How does one have 2.7? How does that one have 0.79 of a seed? I don't even know if I'll get to plant 3 seeds in there now. Well, we didn't quite get everything we wanted to get done over here, but we have an idea of what's over here now. I get the feeling when we come back, though, it's going to be mostly polluted oxygen. But I think when we come back, what we're going to do... Oh, that needs to be activated. I might need him to stay just a moment longer. No, next time I come back, I'll worry about activating that. I'm going to go ahead and have Mr. Iron Wolf here. He's going home. It's time he had a break. Welcome back, buddy. Now, before we do anything, let's check your, yeah, we're going to go ahead and send him into the bathroom real quick so he washes his hands. Oh, and it looks like we have to reassign his bed. Okay, good to know. So you have to reassign the bed every time that they're done. It definitely, that trip definitely did get his athletics up though, which was one of the goals. Yeah, athletics of 5. So now while he's in suit, he should only have an athletics of -1. How are we doing over here? Ooh, and this is just about done as well. Make sure to get every last piece of scrap out of there, guys, because we're going to analyze this before the day is done. I started working on a polluted water basin. I think I already mentioned this. We're going to cap this off as soon as it's done being researched, and we're just going to let it flow. And I'm hoping for a large amount. At this point, they should just be able to uncap it. And then Zulok will come analyze it here in a moment. It is putting the polluted water out at 86 degrees. Oh, hey, we actually have access to the eruption period already. Yeah, we'll get that analyzed in the background. I know not a lot really got done this episode, but we found the natural gas geyser. I'm going to get us down to that in the next episode, or before the next episode, really. I'm going to get us a power station set up, and we're going to work on getting us a deep freeze set up for the food. And we're going to start laying out the area for our sleet wheat and bristle blossoms. We might separate the two. We'll see. I have all this extra space in here that I could use for bristle blossoms. But anyway, until next time, don't scrub out.